Eva Mendes isn't afraid to admit that she's no clean freak, which means every now and then her kitchen is a mess, definitely a reflection of me feeling a bit chaotic or scattered, she tells Self with a laugh. Between taking care of her young kids and co-owning a sponge enterprise, Skura Fashion, Mendes knows the struggle of juggling a ton of duties all too nicely. On extra busy days or weeks, finding the time and strength to tidy up can experience impossible, but she nonetheless attempts to make the effort, although her area doesn't appear spotless 24/7. I've usually felt like the kitchen, and specifically its country, become symbolic of my internal nation, Mendes stated. So maintaining things easy and quite organized is how I sense my fine. So how does she summon the incentive? Which chores does she break up with Ryan? And are there any strategies that assist her maintain it together as a hectic mother? We requested her all approximately her cleansing and self-care routine, and were happy to report that her solutions had been refreshingly relatable. I am Cuban. I'm first era, and my mom, my sisters, my aunts are all very related to the residence, particularly the kitchen and doing the dishes. And so I grew up seeing doing the dishes, especially, as a high-quality aspect to revel in. You could make and revel in out of it, flip up some Latin tune, and then you definitely easy. I grew up with the fragrance of Pine Sol and Fabuloso, each Latin American-owned family has it. It's this cleansing solvent that has a particular smell. However, besides, cleaning become only a large part of my upbringing. I am rather of an insomniac. So regardless of how worn out I'm, as soon as the youngsters are put to bed, it is sort of like my time. I'll do the dishes then, and that I'll concentrate to a podcast if I'm no longer listening to song. But tune is the first rate to get me going, especially Cuban song. It may be literally whatever, something that's nostalgic to something that's new. Proper now, if I'm doing the dishes at nighttime, I do a podcast. I like the Mel Robbins podcast. She's so inspiring. By the point I'm done with the kitchen, I'm like, I've found out something. And if I'm doing them at some stage in the day, I will concentrate to anything from Celia Cruz to Doja Cat. Glaringly, Doja Cat is best while the children are in faculty. However, I hate taking the trash out. I don't find it irresistible. I do it once I need to, but that's the only component I don't love to do. I know it sounds very gender specific, and I don't want to fall into that stereotype, however it smells. I'm exquisite touchy to odor. I haven't unpacked this with my therapist yet, however I'm sure it's not that deep. During the pandemic, I was one of these individuals who took cleaning to the extreme. Like, I was washing my fruit and everything, but I nevertheless had to find the ideal sponge. I've usually had issues. They odor, they're gross, and you then find the previous day's eggs on them. So I've never cherished a sponge, however while I discovered Skura, I used to be hooked. It's super and has that fade to alternate era. Basically, while the brand starts to fade, that means it's time to change it. So it type of does the smart thinking for you. Oh, I don't keep away from burnout. There may be no stability. If absolutely everyone tells you that there may be, please send them to me. Inform them to enter my DMs and tell me how to do it, due to the fact I have no concept. Balance isn't always something that exists for me with kids at this point. They're still little. They're 7 and 9 years vintage, but I always sense like I'm lacking in a single region or the alternative. The satisfactory factor I may want to do is simply be virtually great to myself and ask for help once I need it. That's regularly. I have nothing discovered at this factor as far as stability or time management or whatever like that. Again, ask for help. That's the big aspect. Human beings want to help you, so I remind myself of that.